Hey guys, this is Rob Paulson, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Then you do us proud. Because I don't want no scrubs.
Really?
No.
You're not aware that's a TLC song?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You said chasing waterfalls, now you're saying you don't want no scrubs?
I don't even understand the reference.
It's like a tick.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Remember, this thing gets messy. We never talked.
You can trust us?
Real quiet. You gotta creep. Creep.
Come on. You don't say creep, creep unless you're quoting TLC.
You are now on the inside of what I like to call the circle of trust. We are all connected in the great circle of life.
You know something, Bert? What? I think you and I are going in circles.
It feels like we're going in circles.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Because it's a circle.
Yeah, we heard about the circle. Yes, we're familiar with shapes.
Hi, this is Chuck.
This is Greg.
And this is Dan, and we are Talking in Circles, brought to you by the Geekcast Radio Network, the podcast that wants no scrubs. Those hanging...
So they don't get no love from me.
No. When they're hanging on the side of a passenger's ride, trying to holler at me, they ain't getting no love. Anyway.
It's sad that we both knew that song.
Flashback to the 90s.
Phil, you ever see the movie The Other Guys, where Michael Keaton just talks in the lyrics of TLC? It's pretty funny. Anyways.
No, but I got to send a shout out to Lisa Left Eye Lopez. May she rest in peace.
Yes. May she be burning houses down in heaven. Anyways, yes, we are talking in circles. Welcome to this episode. Episode number 23? 2? I don't know. I
think it's 23. We hit Michael Jordan.
Yes,
Woo!
yes.
That's 23. It's our season finale. But not really, though. Don't get worried.
We are going to end on a cliffhanger. Which one of us will survive? The answer is everyone. So it's like one of those old Marvel comics when it's like, two will show down, only one will survive, but then they both end up surviving. So, but
we should have prefaced this with previously on Talking in Circles.
Well, in our first episode, we talked about... Actually, that's kind of good, because in our first episode, we did a thing called Fact or Fiction, and we did it again in episode 5, and we decided we're going to go back to that and do it again this episode.
We said, fuck it, we're doing no work, we're going to do shit we've done before. They're going to like it.
Yeah. You're going to take it and you're going to like it, because we don't like no scrubs. Anyways.
No love.
Not for me. Anyways, but before we get to all that, how's the week been going for you guys?
Not too bad. I've been dying at work lately because our air conditioning hasn't been working in my room.
Okay, Chuck's the one that's not going to survive this, apparently.
Yeah, it's not. Well, there's a twist, though. There's a twist halfway through the story. So.
Uh-oh, we got an M. Night Shyamalan going on. What's the twist, Chuck?
It was on the entire time. You just didn't know.
The twist was we weren't feeling cool on the inside.
Dun, dun, dun!
Which one are you?
Ding dong. But, anyway, it's been hot up here the last couple of days. It's been high 80s, close to 90.
You know what you should do, Chuck? When it gets hot in here, you should take off all your clothes. 'Cause it's getting so hot, I'm gonna take my clothes off.
But Greg, you like taking your clothes off when it's not even hot out. You just...
Pretty much. I like to walk around the house pretty much naked.
Well, if I wouldn't get fired, perhaps I would consider that. It does make you feel more free to, design stuff in my case, but...
'Cause he's free! Free balling!
Wow, we are full of musical references tonight. Must be in high spirits here.
Well, there are a lot of spirits in
Or else we got into the spirits, wink wink.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been 88 the last couple days up here, and in my office it's been really, really hot, and air conditioners basically blowing warm air and stuff. So we finally got that fixed today. They called a guy, and he found out the problem was with the thermostat, and it wasn't working. So they got that taken care of, and it was so nice because it was like nice and cool in there today, and it was just a huge relief. But
He just
the funny part is,
and goes, "Nobody turn this on." He flipped a switch.
there's a red power button down here, guys. I don't know if
You guys forgot to plug this in.
But the funny part is, I was joking with the guy right as I was leaving work because he was fixing the thermostat, and I said, we were starting to think that thing wasn't hooked up to anything. It was just hanging there for decoration. And he says, it's funny you mentioned that, because he said we actually install some of those in offices. Like, we install fake thermostats where people, like, are playing with the switch back and forth, and they're fighting over what the temperature should be. So, like, the managers of companies have them come in and put, like, a fake thermostat on the wall and make the people feel like they're in control. And he said the funniest part is the people come up to them and like, dude, this is so much better in here. It's like so nice. The thing just doesn't control anything. It's not even wired to the wall.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. So,
Greg, how's your week been going?
It's been all right. I've got some tales. I'm not going to say they're funny, but they're amusing tales. I had to go take a picture for a cap and gown, a graduation ceremony at one of the local high schools. And I got stuck doing it because the girl who schedules everything was a dumbass and didn't block off my boss's schedule. So I was forced to go with her up to this thing. And so they all have their caps and gowns, and the pose was them sitting down. But when everybody sat down, it was like the whole gown inflated, so everybody was turning into like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And so this one girl came up, and I was like, oh, she sat down. And I'm like, well, why don't you get up for a second and then just kind of push everything down and then just kind of hold it at your midsection so everything doesn't puff out, because she looked kind of puffy sitting there. Yeah, I found out she just had gigantic boobs. Because I was like, you're kind of puffing out there. I'm like, and after she did that, I was like, and sexual harassment suit now.
She's like, yeah, I have been for the last year.
That's what the boys keep telling me.
Yeah, she was very well endowed. I had another story, but now it's, the other story, which we kind of talked about before we started. One of my friends listens to the show, and she has been quite enamored by Chuck's voice work in the new little series that we're doing, Unknown. She's really digging your voice, Chuck. She thinks it's very sexy. Yes.
Nice. I do have one fan after all.
We've all gotten actual comments on our voice work. They said yours was kind of reminiscent of Batman, and mine was kind of Joker in the Batman animated series, which I was trying not to do, but every voice that I kept coming up with was like just a couple degrees off from Joker. Like it sounds like Joker.
Well, you know what they say, everyone in the world is only 6 degrees away from the Joker. So
him and Kevin Bacon.
and my voice is inspired by my lack of voice talent. So
nonsense, Daniel.
Voice going. But I thought I had more stories, but I guess not. But what have you been up to, Dan? Hopefully you have something. Stories.
Not too much. It was Tuesday was my wife and I's anniversary. So we went.
Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
Thank you. That's the song they came to sing at when we were having dinner the other night. But no, we went to this nice restaurant called the 13th Floor. I guess you can guess what floor it's on. It's
Did it have 13 ghosts?
No, it didn't. Unfortunately, we had to go through 13 levels. It was weird. It was like a big gigantic battle, you know.
Was it like the Bruce Lee movie where you had to go up?
You ever see The Raid? It's kind of like that.
Jabbar at the floor when you came in. He's the hostess.
Yeah, it was weird.
Dan had to defeat 12 opponents to get to that floor.
The final was Gizmo del Toro. He's like, but no, it was a nice little. It's nice because it looks over the city of Baltimore, so it's nice to do it at At night, it was a nice little place. It was kind of weird though, because there's like
it's good to do it at night because you can't see the city of Baltimore. And I'm the only one that found that funny. All right.
But there's a couple sitting next to us. At least we thought it was a couple, but it was really ended up being like a dad and his daughter. It wasn't like they were overly flirty or anything. Like, I don't know. It just like I was like at first I'm like either this is a couple or this is a guy with maybe an escort, or it ended up being his daughter. But what was really weird was like one of his daughter's friends came over who ended up being at like, some bachelorette party. The father ended up getting the phone number of his daughter's friend. And I'm like, that's really creepy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Way later in his future.
Yeah, I'm like, really? With his daughter? That's his best, I guess.
You know that old saying.
Yeah, so it was a little creepy. But and Chuck, you mentioned about it being really hot. Yeah, it's been really hot in Baltimore too. And we had this like wicked thunderstorm last night. And it was around like midnight, and like I woke up right when it was happening. Finally was getting back to sleep, and then suddenly every electronic device in my apartment went off, like my cell phone, my wife's cell phone, our iPad, our computers, because all the like weather alerts came on. Like apparently that's a thing that happens now. So I was like, what the hell is going on? It was
like an EMP pulse or something.
Exactly, because it's a noise I've never heard of. It was just the creepiest thing ever, and I'm like, oh, it's flash flooding. I'm like, I'm in my bed. Like, I don't really.
It's like the one episode of The Office where what's his name? Ryan. Or not, is it Ryan? Temp.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. He starts up a company called Woof.
Yeah.
and he combines like. It tells you like everything. You get a tweet, you get Instagram, you get everything. So like once you get one thing, it's like faxes come out. Everything's like ding dong.
Exactly. But it was just kind of random. But besides that, not much else is going on. I did get to watch one thing. I know you guys don't watch this show because I know, Greg, you talked about getting into it, but you don't have HBO, and that's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I want to see it, but. I don't have HBO.
I gotta hook you up and get you that. There's ways of making you watch Game of Thrones, Greg.
I just want to see the blonde chick in very little clothing. That's essentially my main goal.
You can pretty much watch the first episode over and over again.
All right.
But
never been with a Spanish chick before. Oh,
this season just ended, and I haven't been talking about it because I wanted to wait till the season's over. And the one thing with Game of Thrones is anyone who's watched it is that there's a whole hell of a lot always going on. Tons of characters, and it's usually kind of hard to keep track. I'm not going to lie to you. This season, though, I think it kind of worked out well. Apparently, this season and last season were the same book, just kind of split in two. And I think this season was probably, like, to me, my favorite since the first season. A lot of great moments, some really epic. The second and last season had one of the best like battle sequences I've seen since like season 2 of Game of Thrones. But just the amount of production that they put into an episode, like it's this entire battle that was kind of being built up for 2.5 seasons or so, and it really paid off. It was like this battle at the Black Gate, and there's other storylines going on too. And what I noticed too is like finally things are kind of clearing up a little bit, and I kind of relate it to like when you're running. And when you're running, it's like you feel like you're getting tired, you're getting tired. Finally, you get enough momentum when you get that runner's high where everything starts to click. And I feel like that's where Game of Thrones is right now. Everything's kind of clicking. All the pieces are starting to get in place. So I really dug this season so far. Each episode had something really big happen or some huge controversy or a really cool moment. Peter Dinklage, who you guys know from X-Men, he had a really great moment. There was a trial where he basically was fighting for his life, and he had this moment where he just broke down and started attacking everyone verbally. It was like a highlight of the season. So a lot of people have been saying this is the best season of Game of Thrones so far, and I'm not disagreeing with that whatsoever. So if you're watching it, I would definitely advise picking it up. It does, like I would say, like it does take a while, and there are times where I'm like, I don't remember this person, and hey, look, a new character. Thank God, because I don't know anyone's name ever. But there's this.
Got to keep a baseball scorecard going on.
You do. I have like an Excel.
Skills.
Yeah, I have an Excel spreadsheet. It's just like, all right, like look at this graph to see. It is kind of crazy. It is one show where I have to watch the previously on segment before it starts, because it kind of gives you an idea of like where this episode's going to go. Otherwise, I would have no idea. So if anything, Greg, you're better off just like waiting and like watching it back to back, because I think it would probably be a lot clearer that way.
That's what I like to do with a lot of shows. I'm trying to catch up on Doctor Who, so I'm going through the whole thing, and I'm just binge watching the hell out of the fucking show.
You show that show, Greg.
I will, damn it.
So, Dan, I'm not only late to the party with Game of Thrones, but I didn't even know the party was going on.
It's a hot tub party, Chuck. We're gonna get in our hot tub time machine.
What's kind of a short like gist of what it's about? Like, is this something that I might be interested in, or?
Did you like Lord of the Rings?
Kind of. I mean, I wasn't really into them that much. It was like a one-time watch.
It's less mythical than Lord of the Rings. I mean, there's some mythical elements, but they kind of are showing through. The basic premise is almost like a political drama taking place in the Middle Ages, I guess you would say. The first season gets into this family called the Starks, and it kind of centers around that family and basically the drama that unfolds. Like there's like all these different kingdoms that are kind of trying to, usurp power from one another. So and it's kind of going into like all those different kingdoms from and I'm trying to explain this and it's not making sense, but I guess you would say.
No, I get it. I was kind of looking for like a time period setting and it's just a basic type of.
It's Middle Ages, like I said. There are mythical elements, but not very much. It's not like you're going to have flying eagles or people doing magical powers or anything.
I think there's a lot less walking too, I'm assuming.
A lot less, yeah. No hobbits, so.
Oh, nice.
Everyone's human for the most part. Like there are. I don't want to give anything away, but the later you get in the season, it's like things get a little bit, like I said, more mythical, but it never gets to the point where it's like you really doing spells or anything. It stays more realistic, I would say. And I think a big part of it too is like it's a deconstruction of heroism. In a way, I would say there's no true hero in that series. Everyone's flawed, deeply flawed. Some are more flawed than others. Like, there's the character Joffrey, who is probably, if you ever look at the list of most hated characters in the world, he's on the top of it. Like, he is a douchebag with a capital douche. So, but he's like the actor that does a great job of playing that character. He's just such a slimy piece of garbage.
Wow, a lot of venom in that statement.
If you see the show, you'd be like, yeah, that's very true. He is a horrible human being. He is awful. But a lot of
is there some good action sequences and stuff, or is it more like a drama type thing? It's
a combination of both. There's some good action sequences. I think there's probably more action in the second season. What they tend to, the show is like build up. It's a lot of build up. Because you hear they're saying winter's coming, because there's these certain things that are kind of on their way that are always in the background. But there are some really epic battles. Like I said, there's this season, this entire episode, like 45 minutes, was dedicated to this one battle sequence. Same thing in, I think it's season 2. It's the same thing. There's another battle sequence just like that. But there's a good amount of action in it. The first season probably has the least amount, I think, because it was just starting off and they didn't know what it was going to be, how successful it was going to be. But I think the best thing about it, though, are the characters. And I would say it is pretty gratuitous with the nudity and the violence. It doesn't hold a lot back. So, Greg, I could see you loving that. Chuck, I could see you not liking that as much. So, I don't know.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So I just would give that warning. And they, too, go by the model that incest is best. And for those who've seen the series, they'll get that. So, but yeah, I wish maybe one day we'll sit down and watch it and see what you guys think. But,
do you have any thrones that we can watch it on?
I am sitting on a pretty nice chair. It's not necessarily a throne. Well, I have a toilet, which is, I think, the best throne, really.
You're podcasting from the toilet, Dan. Come on.
Hold on.
You don't want to sit on there too long. You're going to get awful hemorrhoids.
Whoosh. Is that how that happens?
Yes, that is how hemorrhoids happen, people.
I'll write that down.
The more you know. Dun, dun, dun.
So enough about hemorrhoids and Game of Thrones. I don't know how they go together, but somehow we found a way. Chuck, what have you been up to?
I haven't been up to too much this week. I did get to see a movie in the theaters. It was called The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh, God. That's all I've been hearing about. It sounds so goddamn depressing.
We'll get to that in a bit.
I'm going to end up crying this episode.
I'll try not to make you cry. But I did go to see this with my girlfriend. It's a little bit of a chick flick, but I think it's actually really well done. Shailene Woodley stars in it, of Divergent fame, and also, I believe, the new Mary Jane Watson, right, from the Amazing Spider-Man franchise?
She was, but she got cut out, so I don't think she's coming back, so...
Oh, is she not coming back?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. They're not gonna go with her, they're gonna go with someone else, so...
I thought maybe she would be in the third one or something, but...
Yeah, I kind of think it's a right move. I like her as an actress. Like, she's really good in The Descendants and this movie called The Spectacular Now. But I don't know if I see her as Mary Jane.
I don't see her as Mary Jane either.
I agree. She's really good in this movie, but I guess you kind of have to, like, pick your battle sort of thing, like what roles you're good at. But if you're not familiar with this movie, or if you haven't seen any trailers or anything, it's basically she plays a 17-year-old girl that has cancer, and it affects her lungs. She has to carry an oxygen tank with her wherever she goes. And her mother starts to think that she looks depressed and everything, so they kind of enroll her in this cancer support group that meets every week. And she's bored out of her mind for the first couple of meetings, and then she ends up meeting this guy, Gus, who is 18 years old, and his cancer is in remission, but he lost part of his leg, so he has a prosthetic from the knee down. She
sounds so chipper, Chuck.
Yeah, I know. Get ready to not get psyched up.
Get ready to cry. Go.
Yeah. She's not really interested in him at first, but he's a very persistent guy, and he's very smooth the way he talks and everything, and she agrees to hang out with him, and things kind of take off from there. They hit it off, and she tells him about her favorite book in the movie is called The Imperial Affliction, which is about a girl that is dying. So obviously she relates to it quite a bit. And Gus reads the book also because it's important to her. And she loves this author of the book. So Gus actually tracks down this guy who's now like a big recluse. Like he hasn't written another book. He just went into hiding basically. And
so
Gus,
like the dude who wrote Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, pretty much. So this Gus kind of tracks him down, and he emails the guy, and kind of makes it his goal to email him because he knows how much the girl really loves this author. And her name is Hazel in the movie. He calls her Hazel Grace because that's her middle name and everything. But they actually set up a trip to go to Amsterdam and meet him. And then when they end up meeting the author, we see that it's Willem Dafoe. And he is a total asshole to them and ends up kicking them out of his house. And I'm like, geez, these kids have cancer. You know, they don't know how much longer they're going to live. He is a total dick to them. Totally kicks them out of the house and ignores what they have to say and everything. But they end up spending the rest of their trip kind of having fun and falling deeper in love. You know. But then we start to get some unexpected twists and stuff like that. But the movie finishes very strong and very, very emotionally. The whole theater was bawling their eyes out. It's all I heard. I mean, in the silent scenes when you're sitting there and it gets quiet, you just hear sniffling and whimpering. And I mean everybody in the whole theater. And I've never seen a movie that sad, in a theater. I've never seen where everyone is just sniffling. It was unbelievable. But
it sounds like the Eagles in the playoffs. So
yeah. I mean, honestly, it's sad, but it's kind of a good sad, if that makes sense. It has a great life lesson about love and making the most of the here and now and stuff. And I remember just thinking how trivial some of my problems are. And you look at some of these kids and they're living day to day, not sure how much time they have left and everything, but some of them end up enjoying life more than most people ever will in a full lifetime. They just understand that you have to enjoy what's given to you and not focus on what you're losing or what you lost or anything like that. But it really illustrates really well how much strength some of these kids can have. And we're here worrying about the guy that just cut us off in traffic, or the coworker we can't get along with or something. But
I feel like that was directed at me.
Why, you're not my coworker?
No, like I'm the one that's like, fucking guy in front of me going 2 miles an hour, fucking coworkers.
Obviously, you haven't ridden with me in a while because I'm like 5% a day.
No, I remember that one time we were driving back from Baltimore and you scared the shit out of me.
Well, I told you never to bring that up because I did not murder that guy. No.
I did not murder him.
But anyway, I guess I just believe that these type of strong people are kind of here to show us the right way to live and to kind of quit worrying about the small stuff and enjoy what we've got, because a lot of us are, let's be honest, a lot of us are very, very lucky to be where we're at in life, and we sort of take that for granted. And this movie, it has that great message, but it is definitely a tearjerker. I do think it's something that everyone should see, though, at some point in your life. It's one of those things you can't really explain or teach. You kind of have to see it and be a part of it. Even if it's that 2 hours in like a movie theater or in your living room or whatever, but just seeing it, you get a little bit of a better understanding for it. But honestly, the kid that plays Gus in this movie is a really great actor. His name is Ansel Elgort. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Never seen him in anything else before, but he did a fantastic job in my opinion. I can definitely see him getting a lot more roles here in the future.
Well, do you know what else he's been in, Chuck?
I do not.
He actually played the Haley Wood or whatever her name is.
Woodley's.
Yeah, he actually played her sister in Divergent.
Oh, okay.
So
that's one of the fun facts that's been kind of going around.
You mean her brother?
Yes, this is a very incest
I know
centered show today.
Yeah, because I remember the Godzilla episode. We were talking about the two actors playing Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in Avengers, and they were husband and wife in that movie.
Yeah, same thing with that. So
really weird, but
there you
anyway, this kid. I mean, Shailene Woodley was good, and she's obviously starting to be in a lot more movies now. But this kid, I liked him a lot. I really liked his on-screen presence. I thought he was really talented, and I would definitely like to see him in a lot more stuff. But so, if you feel like, bawling your eyes out and checking out a movie with a great life message, give this a watch.
All right, so there you go.
I brought us down. That's why I went first. I need you guys to bring us up now.
See, I think it would have been better. Oh, I have nothing to bring us back from that. I have nothing. If we had the commercial break after that, they'd at least people have a chance to go, okay, everything's all right. Okay, the next part of the show, it's going to be awesome. All right.
I'm special. People like me. But I think you get a good point there. But I think we can take a break here. Does anybody have anything else before we take a break?
No, I've just been reading Batman, and it's the Scott Snyder stuff, and everybody's been just kind of praising it. So I don't really feel the need to up it even more. And, everybody should go out and read that one. And it's not going to bring you fully back from the depression of Fault in Our Stars, but it will make you feel more badass.
So,
after
that's the
going to that, crying, okay, here's Batman. Look at him doing all this shit. He's freaking badass.
It's a bad thing when you're using Batman as a way to make people feel better about themselves. Here's this guy whose parents got killed. Feel better. So I think we'll take a break here, and if you're still, with us and not crying, sobbing in the corner, we'll come back and we'll be playing a little bit of fact or fiction. And wow, I don't even know how to make this a segue work, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, we will see you in a bit.
I'm Batman, you will feel better.
Every week on the In Session Film Podcast, you can expect to hear reviews on all of the latest movies, big films, small films, and everything in between. We'll also do top 3 segments relating back to our main review. We discuss all of the latest movie news and rumblings, as well as have movie series and other fun segments. And we always talk about the films that we're watching and why you should watch them or not watch them as well. If you want to learn more about the In Session Film Podcast, check us out online at InSessionFilm.com. You can hear our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, and so much more. In fact, you can listen to everything we have straight from our website. Again, that is InSessionFilm.com. Download our podcast, check us out, and come join us every week. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, and welcome back. For those who have not heard about Fact or Fiction and not sure how it works, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll give a little brief explanation. Basically, we will be tossing out certain statements, and those statements would either be fact or fiction. They can be anything from comics, movies, really a wide range of topics, anything we feel like it. I'll be giving some to Chuck and Greg. They'll be giving some to us. All in good fun. I think I'll get things started off here, and some of mine I think are kind of universal, so I think both of you might find be interested in answering them. So I'll kind of keep the floor open. This will be directed towards Chuck, but Greg, feel free to provide an answer if you would like.
You know I will.
Well, we haven't really talked about this a great deal, but we all know there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. We know Episode 7. We know what that's going to be about the Skywalkers. But we also know they're making standalone Star Wars movies that are going to come in between the normal episodes. So the question then becomes, what should those movies be about? So my question, or my statement is, the first Star Wars standalone movie should be a Boba Fett movie. Chuck, is that fact or fiction?
Ooh, I would say fiction. I think there's some other places that they can go with it that would be more interesting for a first one. I think you'd give him one, maybe like this a second or third time, but for the first one, I might do something like maybe like what happened to the Sith. Were there any other Sith Lords trying to come up through the ranks or anything like that? Maybe something like that, or I don't know if they're covering that in Episode 7 exactly, but I think I would hold off and give him his own maybe a little later on.
All right, Greg, what do you say? Should they make a Boba Fett movie first or not?
I say you go fiction and you go with Salacious Crumb. I think that's what people are really vying for. No, I'd go with Darth Bane. I'd really like to see something about him. He's the one that kind of...
Apparently I'm in Star Wars now.
No, not that Bane.
Couldn't resist.
There's a good novelization. It's a trilogy that I read that was just really good, and I really got into that character, and he was the kind of starting point for Palpatine's, Darth Sidious's whole planning and plot kind of situation going on. Yeah, he was the one that kind of started the whole that there's only two Sith Lords in the universe at one time, the Master and the Apprentice. He's the one that kind of started up the how Siths are, how they are in Palpatine's time and everything. So I'd like to see something about that.
All right. So Chuck, what are your fact or fiction statements?
Well, let me start off with Greg on the first one, I guess. This is really generic, really vague. So, Greg, fact or fiction? The Joker is the coolest villain of all time.
Ooh, shit. Coolest. Yeah. Oof.
Not necessarily the greatest, but maybe the coolest one you enjoy reading the most or something like that.
Enjoy reading the most. I guess I'd go with fact on that. I like I said, I just started reading all the Scott Snyder stuff, and I've really been loving the whole dynamic the Joker has going on this time around with trying to get Batman's attention back on him, that he's losing track with all of his family around. And he's just the one from very little that I remember the most. I was kind of trying to think, since Dan asked that Star Wars question, I was like, well, Darth Vader's kind of cool, but then he's kind of emo when he's Anakin Skywalker. So there was, but yeah, I'd say Joker is probably the coolest.
Cool. Dan, feel free to jump in on any of them. Both of you guys jump in whenever you want. But
yeah, you know what? I would say fiction, because I think Magneto to me is maybe the coolest or the most interesting villain to talk about or to read about, because I think, Joker's sadistic, but I always find Magneto a little bit more complicated, and I find that his stories kind of have more of an interesting angle to them than Joker.
Well, I know who's also complicated, Dan? Teenage girls.
That's...
Are you saying they're villains?
Kind of, yes.
All right. Well, I don't read about teenage girls.
You don't? What do you
No. Because that's when people show up on your door and arrest you. So.
But yeah, I could definitely see that. I do enjoy me some Magneto. Obviously, everyone knows I'm a big Thanos fan too. But yeah, those three of those, they're all some of my favorites. So this next one's directed more at Dan, because it's kind of a sports related thing, and it seems like Fact or Fiction is the only time I kind of get to sneak a little bit of sports stuff in there anymore. But Dan, Fact or Fiction? ESPN will decrease their coverage of LeBron since the Heat got smoked by the Spurs in the NBA Finals.
I'm confused. The Heat played another team in the finals? They didn't really talk about that.
Yeah, really?
No, they will not, because now they will increase it. Actually, I think they would probably talk about it less if he won. Now they're going to talk about it more, because the question is going to be, so is he going to go back to Cleveland? Is he going to go back to this place? Is he going to go to New York? It's just going to be this endless, trying to partner someone up with him. It's just craziness. So no, ESPN will never give you less LeBron. They will only go more. So they'll double down on the LeBron James coverage.
Are they going to clone LeBron? Is that going to be part of the ESPN coverage?
They might. I mean, the day they find cloning, geez, they'll clone him and Tim Tebow, and then they'll just and that's all they'll ever have.
That's they make the Antichrist to me.
Yeah, I cannot stand the LeBron coverage. I mean, I was so happy that the Spurs beat them in the finals, and not only beat them, but pretty badly, 4-1. They pretty much smoked them.
Yeah, I'm a Rangers fan, so I was paying more attention to the hockey finals, which were awesome, but the result was awful. So, but
yeah, rough loss there.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Condolences.
All right, Greg, it's on to you. What are your fact or fictions?
Well, I think I'll start off with you, Dan. First one, fact or fiction. You have plans to make a human centipede.
Shh. you said
shit. Got out.
You said human, right? So
yes.
No, I fiction. I don't have plans for a human centipede as of yet.
It's a dog centipede.
A centipede?
A Lego centipede.
Fair enough, I guess. I guess I won't have to call the cops quite yet. And then for Chuck, the Muppets have changed your life.
I would say fiction, definitely. I was not a big Muppet watcher, I'll be honest, growing up.
Really? Even the Sesame Street?
No, I did not watch Sesame Street that much at all. I did watch a little bit of Muppets.
That's not for me. Sorry about the ambulance going by. I have my windows open.
I just think it's pretty fitting that you're quoting Sesame Street and there's a cop siren in the background.
It's an ambulance.
There's a theme in this episode. I'm starting to think.
Found that interesting. So were you into the Muppet Babies, even that cartoon, or no?
Not really. I don't know. Maybe I was a weird kid or lived under a rock or something, but I more enjoyed even before, I guess, the Marvel cartoons, but the Turtles and stuff like that. I never really got into to the Muppets or anything. I don't know why.
It's time to meet the Muppets. It's time to start the show.
I got quite enough of them from the Toyota commercials. So.
That'll do it. How many people died in that commercial? That's what I want to know. All right, so it's back to me. And it's actually kind of funny that you talked about LeBron, because I had a LeBron James fact or fiction for you, Greg, or for you, Chuck.
Oh, I'm hoping not for me.
No, in spirit of LeBron James' humiliating loss, and I'm saying LeBron James losing because we know that there's nobody else on that team besides LeBron James.
The Miami LeBrons.
But no, actually, I don't hate LeBron as much as more people. I was rooting for the Spurs just because, you know, it's like a nice swan song for them. But I don't know. Besides LeBron's stupid decision to do the decision, I don't know. Whatever. But anyways, fact or fiction, Chuck? Before he retires, LeBron James will win at least 3 more NBA championships.
Fiction.
How do you see him winning any more?
I could see him winning. I could see him winning 1 more. I don't know. It's just kind of an arbitrary number, but it's so hard
Chuck's
to.
Chuck's gonna smother him in his sleep after he gets 1 more. Then Chuck's gonna snap.
I know. I really don't like that guy. He's like so selfish.
I don't even watch basketball, and I don't like him.
Yeah, that's why I was so happy the Spurs won, because they're a team that like you never hear anything out of them. They're never talking trash or anything like that. They're just really laid back. But yeah, it's really hard to get to the finals, and especially if he leaves Miami, I could see him having even more trouble getting back to the finals. But there's a lot of great teams coming up that are good. The Thunder are getting better. The Pacers, the Bulls. You got the Clippers, and there's a lot of great teams. Even the Warriors. So I don't see him winning 3 more. There's a lot of stiff competition there. So
Warriors, come out and play!
Very nice, Greg. Very nice.
Thank you.
Greg, on to you. Fact or fiction? The DeLorean is a better time machine than the TARDIS.
Fiction. You could do so much more cool shit in the fucking TARDIS.
But does it have a flux capacitor?
Probably. It's got like a billion things in that fucking. It's bigger on the inside, Dan. You can fit you can fit a DeLorean in a freaking TARDIS.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I was just playing devil's advocate. But
okay.
But I mean, the DeLorean it is a DeLorean, and it has Doc Brown.
But you can't go into space with that, though.
Maybe eventually. Maybe.
Yeah, eventually, but the TARDIS is already out in space.
But does the TARDIS doors open sideways? I mean, like, that's a huge thing.
Whoosh, whoosh. I can't do the TARDIS noise right. I'm sorry. I'm a little TARDIS myself.
All right, fair enough. I do agree. I think the TARDIS is a better time machine. If you're going to own one, you're going to go with
the loveliest shade of blue.
Yeah. It does go well with my eyes, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, fantastic eyes, Dan.
I appreciate that, especially when you're saying it through a podcast and we're on Skype.
You're very welcome.
All right, well, I'll keep that. Chuck, on to you.
I will not creep you out as much.
As much.
Let's see. I'll start with Dan this time. Fact or fiction? We need another Incredible Hulk solo film.
Ooh, need is a strong word. So I say fiction. I don't think you would need another Hulk film. I think there's better characters that go after. I like the Incredible Hulk movie. The first Hulk movie was, not the greatest by any means, but I'd rather see a Black Panther movie or, other avenues. I just don't think the Hulk is a strong enough character to kind of carry his own movie so far,
The buzz is that they are going to come out with they're talking about making another Hulk movie, though.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I just, I want them to just go into, new ground. I love that they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy, and it seems like they're doing Doctor Strange. I really want a Black Panther movie. Give me my Black Panther movie. Do it. Do it now.
Take my money.
He wants it now.
But, yeah, I go fiction. I don't think we need another Hulk movie. I think he's a character that can kind of maybe show up, or maybe even a partner movie with the Hulk and Iron Man, or the Hulk and there's something
Squirrel
else.
Girl.
Squirrel Girl, yes. The Hulk and Squirrel Girl, coming next summer.
I would tend to agree. I mean, I'll be honest, if they make a Hulk movie, I would definitely go see it. But I think, like, there's only so much you can do with that character, like you said. Like, it's just, you know, the military chasing him around and he starts smashing stuff. So I do enjoy them thoroughly, but I do like to see them going in other directions. So onward to another movie question for Greg. Put on your cerebro, Greg. You need to look into the future a little bit.
Okay.
Fact or fiction? The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie by Michael Bay will be a relative failure at the box office.
Totally fact. That just looks horrendous. You're gonna get. I'm gonna go see it because back in the day, nostalgia situation.
I love that. It's such a piece of, it's going to be awful. I'm going to go see it. But
That's what
I have to, though. I loved the Turtles when I was younger, so I have to see it, even if it's gonna be a giant turd. I'm trying to come up with some kind of correlation to make it make more sense that I'm doing this, but
it's an alternate reality Turtle story. That's all.
Yeah. I'm probably going to have to keep that in mind while watching it.
Did you see the new images of the Shredder? It looks hilariously bad. It's like,
yeah.
how many points can we put on one character? It's like, just like knives and edges.
That's why they put Michael Bay on it. He's very good at edges and points.
Yeah, it really is. I just want to see the Shredder like sit down in like a waterbed and just waiting for that skit to happen. So, you know, it's gonna.
Well, the funny part is, like, in the old Ninja Turtles movies from the 90s, you kind of had them making fun of all the razor edges and stuff on the Shredder when Michelangelo was like, maybe all that hardware is for making coleslaw. But there's nowhere near as many sharp edges as this one. So
yeah.
It's kind of ironic. But.
All right.
I guess it's my turn now, and I guess I'll start off with Chuck. Fact or fiction? It only takes 3 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Wow. I would say fact if you're Superman.
Depends how good you are at licking.
Yes. It takes me 74. So, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really don't count weird stuff like that. Don't think I do.
Don't do it. Don't think.
Okay, and then for Dan, this kind of we're hitting on all cylinders here because I have a Doctor Who question for you, Dan. Time Lords exist.
Oof, Time Lords exist.
Is that a fact, Dan, or is it fiction?
I think that's fact, because how else do you explain Rob Lowe? I guess that was funny to me and no one else.
You think he's a Time Lord and he just, because he's so young looking all the time, he hasn't changed?
Look at the way he looks in like the 80s to the way he looks now. It's exactly the same. It is the same person.
So Dick Clark was also a Time Lord at one point. Now he's just regenerated.
He's regenerated into Ryan Seacrest. I thought that was a normal fact. I think people, or Chris Hardwick, one of the two. Chris Hardwick might be a Time Lord. I think he's just putting on the Doctor Who love just to hide the fact. Because he's like 40 something. He looks like he's 23.
Yeah, and he's got a young girlfriend who is pretty freaking smoking hot.
Yeah, that'll keep you young.
Chloe Dykstra. Google that shit.
Yeah, I just wonder if she's related to Lenny Dykstra, because that would be weird.
She is the daughter of what's his, I don't remember his first name, but his last name is of course Dykstra, and he worked on the Star Wars stuff, as if you listen to Nerdist you'll hear Chris talk about all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason he's dating her. Oh wait, he looked at her, so there's probably a reason.
Yeah, it is because she's like model pretty, but that could anyway.
You should see her dressed up as the Doctor.
But yeah, so I go fact. I think there are Time Lords out there.
It's good to know. I'll have to keep my eye out for him.
I'm so lost right now.
Chuck's like, damn it, I'm gonna have to watch this fucking show now.
Just to get that joke.
Yeah. So honestly, like after listening to the Nerdist podcast and watching Doctor Who, I'm like, I get so much. I understand. I want to go back and listen to old episodes just to show I'm like, oh, I get it. I get what a sonic screwdriver is. It's not just something built by Black & Decker. All right. This one, Chuck, I'll put this to you, but I think this will be the last round. This is the third round, but I kind of have a double one here. Chuck, this is directed to you, but Greg, I'm pretty sure you'll want to join in on this one as well. It's a food-related question, so those are always the fun ones to join in on.
Nice.
Chuck, fact or fiction? Five Guys has the best burgers of any fast food restaurant.
Ooh. Fast food restaurants we're talking?
Yeah.
I'm going to say fiction.
Ooh.
I am a big fan of Wendy's burgers, actually.
Wow.
I absolutely love theirs. I usually get the classic double. I love Wendy's burgers. They're so good.
I like Wendy's redhead from the commercial.
Oh, she's so annoying. I can't stand her. I can only go to Wendy's on days I don't see that commercial. So if I do, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going there just to spite you.
I'll get the burger from Five Guys, so I'll go fact, but I'll keep the girl from Wendy's.
You're taking a girl over Five Guys. That's surprising.
No, I would take the girl first, but I'm saying I'm getting my burger from Five Guys and my chicks from Wendy's, apparently.
And this one I'll throw out to both of you as well. Just kind of do a double one here. Fact or fiction? Michael Fassbender is a better Magneto than Ian McKellen.
I'd go fact, but I think that's more a circumstance of story than acting, maybe. I think acting, they're probably on par with each other, but just the fact that you kind of get more origin for Fassbender's Magneto, which he had so many great parts in X-Men First Class, of especially him at the beer hall. I love that fucking whole scene. I could watch that over and over again. And then with the music, the Magneto music, which is seriously on my freaking iPod. And the last time we talked about that song, I actually went right on after we recorded and I listened to that.
You needed a fix.
It's so good.
Yeah, I would tend to kind of agree with Greg, because I think I guess the early story of Magneto maybe is a little bit more fascinating, of kind of how he molded into who he was. So there's more opportunity to Fassbender to kind of show his stuff. I think they're both great actors. They're both pretty much on par with each other. But I think because of that story, like Greg said, there's more opportunity for Fassbender to kind of flex his muscle a little bit and show that transition into who Magneto would become.
But Ian McKellen definitely has the better hello to Xavier. Hello, Charles.
Is that what they say?
All right, Chuck, I'll bring it back over to you.
Bring it on.
I am. No, it's your turn to do the fact or fiction.
Oh.
Give me another question.
I don't have any left, so just bring it. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Let's go with Greg. Greg, with the recent rumors of possible Paramount Picture films for 2016, fact or fiction, you would really be looking forward to a Star Trek 3.
I'm not the biggest I've never been like a huge Trekkie. It's all right. I love Star Wars more than Star Trek, and I've really liked the first Star Trek with Chris Pine, the newer updated ones.
Yeah.
But it's not something I'm like salivating for when they come out. I'm really happy to see them. The second one was all right, not as good as the first. So
I guess basically, like, do you think it's a good idea that they could make a third one, or do you think it's just kind of like?
Yeah, I'd like to see a third one. I'd be happy to see it, but I'm not like clamoring for one. It didn't even enter my mind like, I'd like to see another Star Trek film before you even said that. So
well, there you go. The more you know.
My biggest worry with that new Star Trek is that it's supposed to be directed by Robert Orci, who never directed anything before, and he also wrote Into Darkness. And if anything stuck out with Into Darkness was the crappy script. So it has me a little bit worried. But I'm similar to you, Greg, where like I'm not a Star Trek fan. I never was. I honestly don't think any of the old Star Trek movies are all that great. Sorry, Star Trek fans. I will duck now from your hatred. Honestly, well, I like Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 4 are good, but the rest I can kind of, I don't know. I've never been a fan.
I got forced into watching most of Star Trek because of ex-girlfriend. She was very into it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like I was going out of my way to watch those or anything.
Yeah, I feel like people say, oh, they're the intellectual versions of Star Wars, and I don't think they're nearly as intellectual as they think they are. But
right.
Again, I will dock from the hatred of Star Trek fans. I do really love the documentary Trekkies. That's probably my favorite thing ever done by Star Trek. So.
That was really good, yeah.
So.
Okay, so let's see. The last one for me would be for Dan. Fact or fiction, Fox's TV show Gotham will be better than the CW's The Flash.
Woof. That's... Wow. Huh. I thought
Chuck actually thought about these, unlike me, who's throwing out random bullshit.
Wow. That's a good question. Which one will be better? I honestly don't have a huge faith in either of them being all that fantastic, like amazingly great. You never know, though. I just try to keep my expectations low.
Yeah.
I think I would say, so I think fiction, because I think CW has shown a good track record already with Arrow, and Fox has not yet really proven themselves with shows. So I think we have more to go with CW, so I'll say fiction, and I have more faith in Flash being good than Gotham, just because I think, if anything, Fox shows too that they will cancel shows at a moment's notice. So,
yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I'm really looking forward to the Flash show.
All right.
Is there going to be a lot of flashing in that show?
Yes, at light speed, so you won't be able to see it though.
Damn it!
But it's okay because it'll be a guy, so you'll be able.
Yeah, that's true.
Greg, back over to you with your bullshit fact or fiction.
Okay. Yep. Came up with all mine tonight. I like Dan's better, so I'll end on Dan. So Chuck, horoscopes are factual. Fact or fiction? It's a double fact. Or a fact and a fiction.
There's no greater fiction.
That is so true.
I hate horoscopes. I cannot stand them.
I find them entertaining to read.
Right, yeah.
But I'm not going to follow them.
They're so vague. Like, it's like, you will have something great happen at work this week. It's like, really? Like, something usually good does happen.
Oh, look, I found a cookie. Yay, it was right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this horoscope that is written, it's in the newspaper and it's separated by months. So this horoscope that's meant for, I don't know how many people, is also, it's like meant for me too, because that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. And finally for Dan, this one's going to be my best question ever, whatever.
Fiction.
A statement.
Drum roll, please.
Okay, that was good. We're all done. No. Dan, fact or fiction? The Bermuda Triangle exists, and it is a supernatural entity. Well, not an entity, but supernatural phenomena.
Fact, it does exist. Fiction, it's supernatural, because it's kind of bullshit. That it, no matter what some creepy guy on a History Channel fake documentary says.
I think we're thinking of the same guy. The guy with the frizzy hair.
Yeah.
Aliens.
What if? Like, if everything you base your entire theory on is what if, you're making shit up. So, no.
You listen to that Scott Stapp song too much. What if?
But that'll bring us to the end of this week's Fact or Fiction. We'll be probably bringing it back again some other time because there's always stuff we can go through. But for this week, if you listened to our episode last week, we started the Unknown Saga with episode 1, Blood. This week, we are bringing you episode 2 of Unknown. Gotta Get Out.
look like stars twinkling in the nighttime sky. It would be beautiful if it wasn't so deadly, and I wasn't directly in their path, with nowhere to hide and no way to defend myself from the onslaught streaking at me. Somehow, my body does what my mind deems impossible. My sword swings around in my hands like a silver blur. Bullets pinged off the fuller of my sword, deflecting off and burying into the thin hotel walls, causing even more havoc in the other rooms. More bullets fling off. I step closer to the police that were firing at me. That was a mistake. It gave me less time to react to the shots. The body armor I have found myself in does its best to protect me. It did an admirable job, but a few bullets found their way through. Luckily, the damage is limited to a few scratches and a couple of bruises. I won't be able to keep this up if things keep going this way. The police are going to whittle me down. I need to pay for my crime, but not like this. What do? I hear an answer.
Throw it! Throw the sword!
I throw my sword into the midst of the policemen, and they all barely avoid it, ducking for cover. It at least stopped them from firing, and gives me enough time to recover my sword from the wall and press the attack. The police, wanting to avoid crossfire, holster their guns and take out their batons. They attack from two sides. The men behind me attack first, their nightsticks lunging out far away from their bodies, being careful to avoid my sword. I swung my blade in a wide arc, cutting off half the shaft of the nightsticks, but it gives one of the officers a chance to punch me in the jaw. The punch shakes my skull, making my vision black. I mindlessly lash out.
Ah!
Frank! Oh my god! You're gonna be alright, buddy.
Sorry to be Frank. You see, kid? I told you. You're a great killer.
Frank?
Oh no. I look down at what I've done. The horror sticks in my throat like an oversized pill.
You better go.
The ghost talking through the man I just killed made me sick, but he was right. I shot off past the other police officers, knocking some of them back to their senses.
You, stop!
Too late for that. Keep going.
I know I should stop, but I can't. My mind tells me to, but my body completely rejects the idea, and I keep running down the hall. I have no idea where to go. The police open fire again. The bullets are deafening in such a small corridor. I'm not sure if these cops were rookies, if their running was throwing off the aim, or if they're just shaken from seeing a fellow officer die. But their aim was less than stellar. Then, somebody has to go prove me wrong, of course. I take another grazing shot to the leg, but I wasn't letting it slow me down. Finally, I reach a dead end at the end of the hall. Nowhere to go. I could try to take down a door to another room, but it would take too long. So I pour on the speed and jumped at the last second, smashing my way through the pane glass window. It's the only path that the cops can't take to follow. I'd rather die by my own hands than have my blood on the hands of a cop doing his duty. The fall is surprisingly short. Too short to kill me even. Long enough, though, to injure my leg some more. Not sure if it's a sprain or something worse. It hurts to run on, but I wasn't going to stop. I can't stop. I run to the edge of the building that I've landed on, and I find the fire escape. The cops' screaming voices sound off in the distance with malice and hate. Rightfully so. It's less than I deserve, so much less. I descend down the fire escape as quick as I can, hoping I don't run into more police. I don't need more innocent lives notched on my belt. The ladder drops me off in a back alley. I stick my head out around the bricked corner of the building to survey the main street. It was a dark, foggy night that could easily hide me from the casual onlooker. No police in sight. I guess my luck is starting to look up for once. Hell, the life I know is only a few minutes old. I duck out of the alley and try to get as much distance as I can between myself and the murder scene. A quick, steady walk, not running. Nothing to catch anyone's attention. I walk and I walk. A limp is most certainly becoming apparent. I just keep going because that is all I have for now. I'm off to meld into the shadows like that ghost I've met. I'm not sure who I am or what is becoming of me. A couple of things are for sure. I will figure out who I am, and I will make up for the lives that I've destroyed. Now, where do I start?
All right, we hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Unknown Gotta Get Out. Let us know what you think. We got a lot of positive feedback about the last episode, and if you listened to this episode and you didn't listen to the last episode, well, go back to episode 22, skip it to about 10 minutes left or so, and enjoy. But looking forward to it. Got to give credit to Greg for his amazing writing, and both the credit to Greg and Chuck for their great voices. So. But anything else before we bring this episode to a close?
I got nothing.
Yay, Chuck, for doing that voice.
You're welcome.
All right, so that will be the end of the episode for this week. And if you want to get in contact with us, there are tons of different ways. You can email us at feedback@geekcastradio.com. We're on Facebook, Talking in Circles, on Twitter, Talking in Circles. I'm also on Twitter at Movie Revolt. Also comment on the episode post at geekcastradio.com. Also, if you go to geekcastradio.com, you'll see a few articles I wrote recently. I did one of my top movies of the year so far, as well as ranking all the Marvel films. So feel free to go in there and disagree with my ranking, as most people have.
Boo, Dan, for writing that and giving us something to read and entertainment.
Starting up the controversy.
That's what I'm here for. But that's it for this week. Remember to join us next week. Same time, same channel, same podcast feed. But for now,
this has been Chuck.
This has been Greg, or Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
And this has been Dan, wanting no scrubs, and we'll see you next week.
Passenger side of my best friend's ride, looking at me.
I don't want to be chasing waterfalls either. If you really look at TLC, they pretty much give you life lessons on everything, you know.
So I should light my boyfriend's house on fire?
Is he Bad Moon Rising? I don't know.
No idea who that is.
It was like her boyfriend was an abusive football player, so.
Oh yeah, I know he was an abusive douchebag.
So he kind of deserved it. So if the question is, should I burn down the houses of abusive douchebags? Yes, and let's find out where Justin Bieber lives, and then there you go.
Well, maybe Selena Gomez will be happy with me after that and want to make out or something. So, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Life lessons on Geekcast Radio.
I don't want no scrub. I want a guy who can burn down the house of Justin Bieber to go out with Selena Gomez. And that's the number one hit, so if I've ever heard one. This is John Connor. If you can hear me, you are the Resistance.
Oh, shit.
I would love it if that's what happened in the movie when they did on the other end. Like, oh, fuck. I don't want to be the Resistance.
Oh, God damn it, I have to lead people? Shit.
It's not part of the deal. I thought of a good...
I was going to read a fucking book. God damn.